Hello all, welcome to the session. Hello all, good evening, welcome to the session. And today we are going to start our second SQL class, where we are going to see what are the database, how to create database, what are the tables, and how to create tables. And also we are going to see like how to import data from CSV file, and what are the constraint and what are the data type in SQL, and why these are important in the term of interview, and in terms of like creating a schema and designing our database. So it's a going to like uh, fully practical, and also I'll try to like explain everything in a deep, so that everyone able to like understand the things. And the rule of the class, we are going to just start our class in a both language. First I try to explain in English and again in Hindi. सो ये क्लास जो है दोनों लैंग्वेज में होगी, पहले इंग्लिश में होगी, उसके बाद सेम टॉपिक को हम हिंदी में कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे. अगर आप लोगों को कहीं भी कोई डाउट होता है तो प्लीज़ लेट मी नो इन द चैट बॉक्स, सो दैट वी कैन लाइक सो दैट आई कैन लाइक कवर दैट टॉपिक एज वेल. एंड yeah, also I have planned to like conduct the doubt clear session if required, anything here, right? So before we begin, just confirm in the chat if my voice and everything is proper visible to you guys, so that we can start. And uh, the rule of class, it's going to like a fully practical way, and I also going to like assign you some assignment and some homework. So you need to like do practice, because if you really want to learn SQL and you want to jump in a data field, so you should have to practical knowledge, so that you can like achieve your goal, right? So ये प्रैक्टिकल वे में होगा, जो कि आपको खुद से प्रैक्टिकल करना पड़ेगा. क्लास के बाद भी हम जो है प्रैक्टिस सीट आपको शेयर कर देंगे, उसके साथ आप प्रैक्टिस कीजिए. साथ ही साथ अगर आपको सच में डेटा की फील्ड में अपने करियर बनाना है तो आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. सिर्फ मेरे एक्सप्लेन कर देने से, या फिर आपको कहीं से भी रैंडम वीडियो देखने से, या फिर कोई भी सिर्फ रैंडम वीडियो देखने से आपको कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है? तो तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं अपना जो है लाइव सेशन, और जिसके अंदर हम कवर करेंगे मेजर टॉपिक, जो कि आज का हमारा सेकंड डे है एसक्यूएल का. और इसके बाद जो है हम पावर बीआई भी देखेंगे, उसके बाद इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन करेंगे, और कुछ प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे जो कि इंडस्ट्री लेवल का होगा, ठीक है? तो उम्मीद करता हूँ एवरीथिंग इज़ प्रॉपर ऑडिबल एंड विजिबल टू यू गाइज. एंड बिफोर विदाउट एनी डिले आई वुड लाइक टू जंप to my screen, and I am just going to share my screen. And once it's visible, please let me know. I am just going to turn off my camera, and just going to share my screen. So thumb rule, class is going to happen in the both languages. First in I am trying to explain in English, and again in Hindi. So if anything is not going to like clear to you guys, please just let me know, so that I can like cover those topic as well. Also, I am planning to like conduct a demo, conduct a doubt session. If there are any doubt you guys are facing in the term of like when you are like revising the concept, or just going to practice, so please let me know, so that I'll cover those topic as well, right? So I am going to share, and I hope my screen is visible proper to you guys. So please confirm. Okay, so I think everything is proper visual, and I am proper audible to you guys. Please confirm in the chat once again, so that we can like start our discussion here. So before we go dive, I would just like to like revise our previous concept, where we seen how to like download the SQL, how download the SQL, and how to like mm, uh, 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 create the database, what are the database, what are the DB, and why we need the SQL to connect, like talk to our data. So some basic terminologies we have seen in previous class, right? So on today onwards we are going to like a deep dive with a practical implementation. So before we deep dive, I just want to let you know guys what is actually database. So database is a database is actually a container that store tables, data, and other objects. Think it like a folder can connect database, you can connect, you can assume database as a folder. You can see, you can say database, let me choose this color. So you can you can assume that our DB database is a folder and the files inside folder is called table. So table is what? Table is file under file under the file inside the folder, right? Okay, so you can consider tables file inside a folder, just like a excel file, right? You can consider excel file. We have a folder like a folder, मेरे पास एक folder है, उसके नीचे जो है बहुत सारे फाइल हमने कंटेन कर रखा है, वही होता है डेटाबेस को आप एक फोल्डर समझिए और टेबल को आप उसके अंदर की फाइल समझिए, राइट? सो टेबल के अंदर क्या होता है? टेबल के अंदर होता है डेटा। सो डेटा को स्टोर करने के लिए हम यूज करते हैं टेबल को। सो वाई डू वी क्रिएट डेटाबेस to like in a real companies like a HR database, in a real companies like a HR database, HRDB, HRDB, we create like some data in sales database, banking database, e-commerce database. Each project or system has its own database, right? Own database, सबका अपना एक database होता है, ठीक है? सबका एक database होगा. So if anything is not going to clear, just let me know. So before we jump on table, just I am just going to like open my SQL Server. So I am using here. So here you can see I am using a SQL Server on the Mac. So maybe your like interface is different from my, but remains all the logic and everything is going to same, right? I am using a SQL Server only here, right? But under the like Mac, so it's sometime like you feel like it's some interface changes, but all the logic and everything is going to same. सो मैं जो है मैक में यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, हो सकता है आप लोगों को थोड़ा सा अगर आप विंडो यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो हो सकता है आपको विंडो में थोड़ा सा इंटरफेस चेंज दिखे, बट रिमेन्स एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू सेम. सो हम क्या करेंगे, जस्ट वी आर गोइंग टू लाइक क्रिएट आवर डेटाबेस. सो फॉर दैट पर्पज वी नीड टू लाइक write a query that is called a create command. By using the create command like this, create database and let's create a database called my db. Just create, just try to do along with me so that you guys are also on the same page. Here I am just writing the simple code which is called create database and the database name is mydb. So here when I run the code, so here you can see in the bottom side in the message sector, here it's shows like a command completed successfully. So हमने जो है successfully अपना database बना लिया है. So where we are able to like find out our database which we have created now. So just need to like click here and refresh. Once you refresh here, you can see mydb is presented here, right? So I believe everyone able to like create the database. So if yes, please let me know. And create is actually a command, a keyword, and the database is like a object type, and db is going to like your database name. Our database in this case is going to mydb. So I believe everyone are able to find out. So there are two ways to like execute code. One is like a run or click on the run symbol, or otherwise you can just press the F5. So you are able to like create your database, run your code, right? So I believe everyone are able to do the same. And आप डेटाबेस को क्रिएट करने के लिए सिंपल सा क्रिएट डेटाबेस कमांड यूज़ करेंगे और आप जो है ईजिली जो है अपना डेटाबेस क्रिएट कर पाएंगे, ठीक है? तो यहाँ तक मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ सबको अच्छे से समझ में आ रहा होगा, ठीक है। इफ़ डेटाबेस इज़ नॉट अपेयर, सो आपको क्या करना है, एक बार जाके राइट क्लिक करना है डेटाबेस पे और वहाँ पे आपको जो है डेटाबेस दिख जाएगा। ठीक है। सेकेंड मेथड की बात करें, सेकेंड मेथड आप विजार्ड बेस से भी कर सकते हैं। जस्ट यू नीड टू लाइक अ क्लिक हेयर एंड जस्ट राइट क्लिक, and after right click here you can see one option called new database. Once you click on new database, you are able to like create a database without like writing any single code. तो यहाँ से भी आप जाके राइट क्लिक करके भी यहाँ से मैं यहाँ पे db का नाम डाल देता हूँ, db wizard v. Okay, so when you are going to like a create, it's going to create your database. Here you can see dmv, we have just created our second database by using the simple command which is called by using the wizard base, right? Just clicking right and create our new database. So I hope everyone are able to do the same. Okay, as a developer you prefer to like a create command, use create command which we have written first. So try to do the same, right? If everything is going to clear to you guys, so please let me know. So why we create database, it's your question. You might be thinking why we create our database. So if you are like building a e-commerce website and you need to like create a database, for that purpose you are just going to like create a database called e-commerce debit, and inside it you have like a customer table, order table, product table, and database. It's just a container. Database is just the container. Under the container we have lot of tables. Under a table we have a data in a row and column form. So we are going to jump, we are going to like a jump in our table section. So we will see how to create table and what are the table and all the things. So before we jump, we just need to like use one more command which is called use database name, my db. In this case I'm just going to use this db and just need to select that area like this and just run. So you are under the that it's still the server which database you work on, right? So once you use the command, it's tell the SQL server we are going to use this particular or that particular database, right? So use command का यूज करके आप जो है जिस भी पर्टिकुलर डेटाबेस के अंदर जाना चाहते हैं उसका जो है डायरेक्टली आप वहाँ से जा सकते हैं without doing like any manual work here, right? Common mistake people making when they are creating a database, so they are just going to not refresh the object explorer and they are searching for the database. Sometimes it's not appear. So good practice, always try to refresh and check your name if not found, right? And not using like a use after creating database. If you not use command, so it's going to like suppose you are going to create a table or anything, so it's going to store in another database under which database you are currently have, right? So this is the basic things you should have to keep in your mind, and all these things are going to use in a real life, right? So create database, create the container, and use the select the container. Use keywords we use to like select that container, and table go inside that container, right? So I think everything is going to clear to you guys. ओके, सो आई बिलीव सब लोग कर पा रहे होंगे, अच्छे से समझ में आ रहा होगा, ठीक है? सो इफ एवरीवन आर एबल टू लाइक डू द सेम, प्लीज टाइप डन इन द चैट if your database is created. Okay, so let's jump our next topic which is called create a table. So what is table actually? So let's do some like theoretical part here, and again we jump on our practical way. So what is actually create table command? Create table command is actually used to create a new table under the database, right? Like a define the structure before inserting our data. So like a table equal to rows plus column, it's a contain of row and column and foundation of database design. So a table is nothing. Table is just going to create like a file inside the folder, right? You can consider table is nothing, file inside the folder. So where does SQL store data? The SQL store our data under the table only, right? So under the database we have a table, and under the table we have data, right? So टेबल के अंदर जो है हमारे पास डेटा होता है, और टेबल जो है वो डेटाबेस के अंदर होता है. So SQL Server store data inside tables, and today we are going to learn how to create a table using the create table command, right? So what is a table actually? Before we jump, a table is where actually data is stored inside a database. If suppose a database is a folder and a table equal to Excel sheet, so table contains row and column. So table what contains? Row and column. Under the row and column we have a field, right? Row for records and column for the field. In a real world example, right, imagine a company, they need to store employee data. For that purpose they need to like create a table, and that table they should have like employee ID, name of the employee, department, and the salary, where we will store the data inside a table. So these are the common things you should have keep in your mind, right? So if everything is going to clear, just let me know. And a table is actually made of row and column. So table is what? Table is made with row and column. Under the row and column we have some data, right? So suppose we have like a table called student table. Suppose we have a table called student table. Table is what? It's going to form of row and column. So here you can consider the top side, it's a row, it's a your column, and this is going to your uh, rows. Under the rows we have a particular data. Suppose we have a student table. This table name is student table, and under student table we have suppose student ID. Here we have ID, and we have like a name, we have age, we have city, and under here we have some data like a one for ID. Name is going to like a Rahul or anything else, and the age is going to like a 21 year, and here city is going to suppose Delhi. Okay, and here we have second record that is called employee ID 2, and second person name is called Priya, something like that, and we have age suppose 25, and location is Noida. Okay, so here you can see clearly we have row and column. Under row and column we have data. So before inserting data, first we must create a table structure. So what is table structure? So table structure is called how to like create a table with some condition, because without condition table is going to nothing, because there are a lot of things which should need to keep in mind. So we will see in our lecture how to like create a table, and what things we need to keep in mind while we are going to like create our table. सो ये जो टेबल है वो रॉ एंड कॉलम का कम्बिनेशन होता है, और डेटा कुछ इस फॉर्म में जो है स्टोर होता है. ठीक है, तो ओके, पीपल आर डूइंग दैट्स गुड. So let's talk about the syntax of the creating a table. So syntax is going to like creating a table. So syntax is going to like a create table, and create is command, and table is going to like a denote which object we are going to like create. This is a command. You can see this is command, this is object type, and this is going to your table name. Okay, so keep in mind, and here under this we have to just open the brackets and create the column name and the data type, and here you can see one more terms which is called the constraint, and each column must have a data type, because if we do not have any data type, so there are some chances like we store our wrong data in wrong way. So this is going to like a problem in our real life, right? सो टेबल के अंदर क्या होता है? टेबल के अंदर रॉ एंड कॉलम होता है, और जब हम क्रिएट करते हैं तो इसका क्रिएट कमांड का बेसिक सिंटेक्स जो होता है उसके अंदर होता है क्रिएट टेबल। क्रिएट क्या होता है, क्रिएट एक कमांड है, और टेबल क्या है, टेबल एक आपका एक ऑब्जेक्ट टाइप है, उसके अंदर टेबल का नाम हम देते हैं, ओपन ब्रैकेट्स करते हैं, कॉलम का नाम देते हैं, उसके बाद उसका डेटा टाइप डिफाइन करते हैं, उसके बाद कांस्टेंट यानी कि कुछ रूल वहाँ पे हम अप्लाई करते हैं, जिससे कि सही डेटा जो है वहाँ जो कि वहाँ पे जो है सही डेटा स्टोर हो पाए, राइट। सो example, let's suppose we have a simple example. Suppose we have a student table, and student table, under student table we have to create the student table under the, so what do we need to do, we just need to type a create command, and after that table, and the object type is table, and going to student or of our table name. Under the student table we have a student id, which data type is going to integer, and the name is going to varchar, and the which size is going to 50, and the age is going to integer, and city is going to varchar 50, right. So this is the some certain rule we should need to follow. So let's jump on our SQL server and do this in practical. So let's create our first table. So we need to like create our table. So when we create a table like this, so we just need to like type a command which is called a create, and under the command we just need to define which object we are going to create. Like we are going to create a table, we can also like create a database, we can also create a view, we can also create a temp table, we can do many things by using the create command, right. So in this case we are going to use object type is table, and we are going to just define the name of student, and under the students we are just going to enter some, we are just going to like enter some um, field like student id, and we are just going to define the name data type as integer, and also we are going to make it primary key, okay, and comma, and for second line we are just going to enter the name, and under the name we are just going to define the data type is going to varchar for string value. So don't worry about the data type, we are going to see what are the data type and why we need to uh, create a data like a mention our proper data type. So and again we are going to create one more column that is called age, and we are also going to like create int integer is age, and we also need to store the city information. For city we are going to type varchar, and we are going to limit it 50 like this, and once we select all the we need to like select all the things, and just hit the run or press the F1, and here you can see there are one problem with the line 2. Okay, so let's remove this first, and let's create. Here you can see our we are able to like create our data our table successfully. So टेबल को क्रिएट करने के लिए क्या होता है, हमारे पास एक क्रिएट कमांड यूज़ करते हैं, उसके बाद हम ऑब्जेक्ट टाइप डिफाइन करते हैं, हमें टेबल क्रिएट करना था तो हमने टेबल यूज़ किया, उसके बाद हमने टेबल का नाम रखा स्टूडेंट्स, स्टूडेंट के अंदर हमने कॉलम रखा जो कि था स्टूडेंट आईडी, उसके अंदर हमने डेटा टाइप डिफाइन कर दिया इंटीजर, एंड उसके बाद हमने लिया नेम का डेटा टाइप हमने डिफाइन किया वैकेर, एंड जिसकी लिमिट हमने दे दी 50, क्योंकि 50 से ज़्यादा नेम का कैरेक्टर का लेंथ हो नहीं सकता, होगा फिर आगे हम जो है उसको और बढ़ा भी सकते हैं, राइट। सो एज को हमने इंटीजर रखा और सिटी को हमने वैकेर रखा, और जैसे हमने एग्जीक्यूट किया तो हमारे पास एक मैसेज आ गया कि कमांड कंप्लीटेड सक्सेसफुली, राइट। सो यहाँ तक सब लोग कर पा रहे होंगे, और here I got a message, can you suggest me best data analytics institute. So So it's depend on your location, and it's depend on you where you are going to like grab the things. You can learn the things from like a YouTube as well, and this is also the complete data analytics like a course where you are going to see the all the things which is required for data analyst. So keep in mind. Okay, so no worries. If you think so, I'll suggest you connect me personally. I'll suggest you some institute also, right? So so this is the some rule we should need to keep in mind, and why table design is important. So let's talk about that also, because correct structure improve the performance and prevents the future errors, and help maintains data accuracy and used in real world system like e-commerce and banking and many sectors, any sectors, right? You can consider any sector, it's need to like create a proper database design. So under database we have table, and we need to design our schema. So right, schema is nothing, we are going to like a column, and the column is going to like a with some rule, like with some data rule, with some constraint where we need to store our data. So let's jump on the constraint. What are the constraint actually? So constraints actually going to like a rules applied on a table or column, and maintain data accuracy and integrity. So for maintaining the data integrity and the prevent the duplicate, null or invalid data, we just need to apply some rule. Certain rule is called the constraint here, right? So I believe everything is going to clear, right? Okay, so if everything is going to clear to you guys, just let me know. Suppose you are learning for data analyst, so you should need to have that much knowledge, so that anyone if ask in interview, so you can explain the things, what are the constraint, why we create table, and why we create database, and these kind of the things you should have to keep in your mind. Because sometime interview ask you what are the table and what are the data type, and they also compare with some data type like a VARCHAR and the NVARCHAR, something like that. So we will cover all the things, because I plan to like not teach in like on just basic. I just try to like teach you guys on a depth, so that everything is going to clear. So because it's a foundation class, this is a second class, so we just need to understand some basic things, what we need to like keep in mind while we are going to learn SQL. So SQL server we are using here, so these things we need to keep in mind, right? So let's talk what are the constant actually. So constant, what happen, like if you allow user to enter anything into the database, so what happen? So they might be enter some duplicate value, they might be enter the negative salary, they might be enter the blank names, order without customers. So there are a lot of things they can like make a mistake. So that would be like create our things like chaos, and not, it's not the right thing, right? So to prevent this, SQL server provide something that is called constraint, that is called the some rule and regulation to create our database, and to create our table structure, right? So if you talk about the definition is going to like a constraint or rule applied to a column to maintain data accuracy and integrity. In simple word, you can say constraint control the quality of the data. So quality is going to matter when we are going to create our table. So keep in mind, right? So constraint क्या होता है? constraint होता है जिससे जो है हम कुछ रूल अप्लाई करते हैं, जिससे कि हमारी जो है डेटा की एक्यूरेसी जो है और इंटीग्रिटी जो है वो बनी रहे, ठीक है? कांस्टेंट कंट्रोल करता है डेटा की क्वालिटी को, ठीक है? तो इसके लिए हम जो है कांस्टेंट यूज करते हैं. सो टाइप ऑफ कांस्टेंट की अगर हम बात करें तो यहाँ पे मेजरली टाइप ऑफ कांस्टेंट की अगर हम बात करें तो यहाँ पे मेजरली फाइव constant you can consider, but there might be more, but these are the most commonly used. So uh, here you can see first is going to our primary key, and the not null, unique, default, check, and foreign key. So these are the common use cases what we use in real life, right? So you can see clearly here. सो टाइप ऑफ कंस्टेंट की अगर हम बात करें तो प्राइमरी की होती है, नॉट नल होता है, यूनिक होता है, डिफ़ॉल्ट होता है, चेक होता है, फॉरेन की होता है. सो डोंट वरी, वी विल सी इन प्रैक्टिकल एज वेल, एंड ऑल्सो वी आर गोइंग टू explain all the things in a deep. So Baba, don't worry, I'll also planning to launch our course like some paid classes where we should have like uh, interact like a one to one as well. And also I'm providing the like a doubt clear session if you have any, so you can ask any doubt. So in the same group, I think Baba, you should need to join that group. If you're not there, so I think group is present in the description. So just go and join that WhatsApp group, and where you can connect me. And if you have any doubt related to data and any kind of help, so you can reach out to me. So I'll glad to help you out, right? So don't worry about that. So so these are the things. So we need to keep in mind when we are creating our table, we should need to create some rules to the table column, so that we need to prevent the duplicate data and the data accuracy, right? So keep in mind all the things, right? So we are going to jump with the primary key. So what are the primary key actually? So primary key is going to uniquely identify each record in a table. Rule that call a cannot be null, cannot be duplicate, and only वन पर टेबल. सो प्राइमरी की क्या होता है, टेबल के अंदर एक ही हो सकता है, उसमें जो है हम डुप्लीकेट एंट्री नहीं कर सकते हैं, और एक टेबल के अंदर एक ही होता है, उसके अंदर नल वैल्यू भी हम स्टोर नहीं कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. अगर हम एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे देखें तो लेट्स वी क्रिएट अ टेबल विद प्राइमरी की. सो वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू क्रिएट आवर टेबल, आवर सेकेंड टेबल. So before second table, I just like to show you how where our table is stored here. So here you can see under a table section and under our database, under table we have a DBO student, right? So we have our student table under this, right? So I think everything is going to clear, right? So let's create our first constant, which is called the primary key. So अपना हम फर्स्ट कांस्टेंट क्रिएट करते हैं जिसको हम प्राइमरी की बोलते हैं, ठीक है. तो प्राइमरी की कैसे हम कांस्टेंट डिफाइन करते हैं अंदर अ टेबल. सो लेट्स क्रिएट अ टेबल. लेट्स क्रिएट अ टेबल that is called student 1, and just open the brackets and like this, and hit the enter, and go student ID. Under the student ID we are just going to create the data type is going to integer, and here it's going to primary key. Just define like that and hit the enter, or comma, and if you want to store the name as well, so just type the name and define the data type, which is going to a varchar, and under varchar we are just going to limit the data size, which is going to 50, and just close the brackets and hit the run button. ओके. सो इस तरीके से आप जो है अपना जो है सेकेंड टेबल क्रिएट कर पाएंगे, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे आपको अच्छे से दिख पा रहा होगा किस तरीके से हम जो है यहाँ पे प्राइमरी की यहाँ पे डिफ़ाइन कर चुके हैं, ठीक है. सो अब इसका यूज़ क्या है इसको हम देख लेते हैं एक बार. टेबल के अंदर जाके जस्ट एक बार हमको रिफ़्रेश करना है, और रिफ़्रेश के अंदर यहाँ पे आपको स्टूडेंट टेबल मिल जाएगा. सो स्टूडेंट टेबल को हम एक्चुअली क्या करेंगे, इसके अंदर कुछ डेटा इंसर्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, बट टुडे इट्स नॉट आवर टुडे एजेंडा, बट आई जस्ट वांट टू शो यू सम प्रैक्टिकल, सो दैट थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू क्लियर टू यू गाइस, राइट. सो यहाँ पे हम कुछ डेटा जो है इंटर करते हैं. सो इसके लिए एक हमारे पास होती है कमांड जिसको हमको बोलते हैं इंसर्ट कमांड. इंसर्ट के अंदर हम बोलेंगे इंसर्ट करते हैं यहाँ पे कुछ डेटा हम. सो यहाँ तक आप चीज़ें अगर आपको क्लियर हो रही हैं तो एक बार आप बता दीजिए. लेट्स इंसर्ट सम डेटा. 1 minute please. So अगर यहाँ तक सब चीज़ें क्लियर हो रही हैं, यहाँ तक सब लोग कर पा रहे हैं, एक बार बता दीजिए, जिससे कि हम जो है सेम पेज पे हों और साथ में साथ आप जो है प्रैक्टिस करते रहें। अल्दो आज का ये हमारा टॉपिक नहीं था, बट हम जो क्या करते हैं, हम यूज़ करते हैं सिंपल सा इंसर्ट कमांड एंड यूज़ करते हैं इंसर्ट इनटू एंड इंसर्ट इनटू के अंदर इंसर्ट इनटू एंड यहाँ पे हम ले लेते हैं टेबल का नेम। टेबल का नेम हमारा होने वाला है स्टूडेंट वन एंड अंडर दिस वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू लाइक अ type of column name which is going to like a student id and name and close the brackets and use one more command which is called values and under values we just need to like enter some data. So for student id just I am going to type 1 and for name I am just going to make sure to enter the in the double quote so that it's go to like a take your string value. For string we should need to like a keep in mind, so just use double quote, right? So just use Rahul here and hit the enter, like run our code. So you are able to see our one row is affected. But what if I try to again insert the same row, it's going to give me a warning. What warning is? It's going to give us the validation of primary key constants pk student 1 and the cannot insert duplicate key in object, right? So this is the use of primary key. We are not able to like enter any duplicate value over here. Also we are not going to like we are also not able to like enter the any null value as well. Suppose we are going to define the our student id, but we are not going to enter any name, so it's going to take, right? It's going to take. But when we are going to insert nothing, so it's going to give us the error like this. So keep in mind, these are the some basic things you should need to like keep in your mind, right? When we are like creating our table. So when we are like applying some primary key, so this is the things we should need to keep in our mind. If we try to like insert two row with the same student id SQL Server, as you see, it's going to give us the error. But in a real world example, the student roll number and Aadhaar number, employee id always unique, so that purpose also be use our primary key. So there are some other constant as well, that is called like a unique, not null, right? Like things. So we just need like a jump on that also. So let's jump on our second type of the constant, which is going to call the not null and unique. So not null actually going to like a value must be provided, and the unique prevent the duplicate value, and the unique allow one null in SQL Server. So not null क्या करता है? Not null going means that column must be have some value. So it's just we have like we should need to like enter some value under that column. So suppose when we are going to like create another table with the not null constant. So if we here going to like define not null like this, not null like this, and we are going to remove or apply the primary key student 2, and if we try to insert some data, over here, if we try to insert some data like this, we have you employee id, but we are not just going to give the any name. So once we are going to like execute, so it's going to give us the error. So this time also we are getting an error because we are not entering the name of that employee, that student, right? So this is the called the null constant, where we need to at least provide the value. So importance data should be never empty, right? Suppose you are creating a database that is called the employee table. Under the employee table you have employee name, email, and order date. So these things are not going to like a empty. In this purpose we are going to use our null constant. And for unique constant we are just going to like a prevent duplicate value. So like when we are like a create table, so user should have to like that prevent so that they are not going to like enter any duplicate value. So that for that purpose we use unique constant here. So let's talk about the unique constant. So let's talk about in practical. So again just copy and paste in downside like this. And for primary key I'm just going to remove, and I'm just going to apply second mm, here I'm just not from the not null, I'm just going to remove and apply the unique constant. So unique constant what I'm going to do, let's see an example. Unique, so like this. And let's create student table 3. It also not going to like take the same name in the same database, so we just need to keep in mind. So it's created successfully. But if we are going to like enter any duplicate value, so it's going to give us the error at that time also. So let's create a table again, let's insert some data again. So let's insert some data like this. And here I'm going to store the name as well. Name is going to pk, and just I'm going to insert under the table 3 like this. So it's executed. But what if I'm going to like uh, change the our employee id as 2, and for student id as 2, and for student I'm going to take the same as pk and try to enter that data. So it's going to give us the error in the bottom side, right? So this is the use of unique. So unique is always take the unique value. Under the unique you can take the null value, but one time null it's going to take. If you try to like insert the second time null, it's not going to take that value. So here you can see it's going to give us the error because it's not unique. So when we change it as 3 and able to insert that data as well, right? So I think we should understand what are the unique constant, what are the null constant, what are the primary key, and all the things. So ये सब चीज़ें इस तरीके से काम करती हैं. So अगर हम डिफ़ॉल्ट कांस्टेंट की बात करें, अगर हमारा जो नेक्स्ट कांस्टेंट है जिसको हम डिफ़ॉल्ट कांस्टेंट बोलते हैं, अगर उसकी हम बात करें तो उसके अंदर क्या होता है, डिफ़ॉल्ट कांस्टेंट एक्चुअली ऑटोमेटिकली असाइन अ वैल्यू इफ़ नन इज़ प्रोवाइडेड. Suppose we are creating a table, and under that table we have some column, and under that column we need to uh, enter some data. If anything is not going to give in that table, so that time it's going to take the default value which we defined while we are creating our data, while we are creating our table. So default is automatically like assign a value if none is provided. And if don't insert order date, suppose I am just going to create a table that is called order. So let's create our new table that is called order. So create table order. Orders, and under the orders table we are going to store our order id, and order id is going to type is integer, and the primary key, and comma, and for order date I'm going to define that data type is date, and here we are going to apply a default constant. So default constant, under the default constant we are going to give the, if none is present, so it's going to like a take the current date like this, and जस्ट क्रिएट. सो डिफ़ॉल्ट कांस्टेंट क्या होता है, अगर हम कुछ टेबल के अंदर, उस कॉलम के अंदर कुछ डेटा प्रोवाइड नहीं करते हैं और डिफ़ॉल्ट में कुछ अप्लाई करके रखे होते हैं, तो इन दिस केस वो क्या करता है, जाके आपका कुछ सर्टन वैल्यू जो कि हम डिफ़ॉल्ट में डाल रखे होते हैं उसको वहाँ पे इंसर्ट कर देता है. तो इसको अगर हम इस तरीके से देखें, हमने अभी तक ये देखा, अब इसमें हम कुछ डेटा इंसर्ट करते हैं. तो इंसर्ट करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे, इंसर्ट कमांड हम जो है डीपली देखेंगे, तो इसके लिए डोंट वरी. सो अभी जस्ट डेमो देख लीजिए आप, क्योंकि अभी आपका सेकंड क्लास है तो इसमें ज़्यादा डीप नहीं जा सकते हम. सो okay, so insert into orders, our table name, and under table name we have the column that is called like order id and order date like this, and use the value command, values here like this, and here I am just going to enter some value. So for order id I am just going to insert 1 as order id, and for date I am just going to keep it blank. So when we are going to like run this, so it's going to give me some error like this, order date. Okay, another value, if we provide nothing, so it's going to, I think, like this. Okay, so one row affected. Here I just enter the only here just I enter the only order id, not any value under there. So for date column I just keep it blank. So when we are going to see our data, for seeing our data, we just going to use a command that is called a select star asterisk from our table. So our table is going to order. So when we are going to see our table, so under that table you are able to see here by default it captures our current date, right? So this is a use of our default constant, right? So default constant is also going to like a very useful in some cases, right? Suppose you are like creating table which is called order, and another order date you are like don't want to like enter the data, it be like entering the data or for the current date. So data will be automatically stored by using the get date function. So get date actually a function which take the current date, right? So use case like a create date, registration date, and status equal to active, and there are many things we can create, right? So by using the default constant, so it's going to like a very useful in a real life project. So okay, so till here I think everything is clear. Okay, so let's understand what are the check constant which is going to our default and check constants. So we have seen the default, and let's talk about the check constant. So check constant is actually used to like a restrict value based on some condition. Like we are creating a table where it's contain the age column, and under the age column we are like going to like apply some rule. If age is going to like 80 plus years, so that only when it's going to like store that data, otherwise it's going to like throw error. So for that purpose we use our check constant. So it's also going to like a very useful. So let's create in a practical way. So let's jump on, and let's create a table that is called employee table. Okay, anything you can create. Let's create a table which is called create table. Till here I think everything is going to clear. If not, please let me know. And create table, and the table name is going to our employee. Under the employees table we are going to store the employee id, and that is going to like an integer data type. And I am going to define the primary key, and just age is going to, I am just going to enter the age. And for age we are going to define the data type which is decimal. And the decimal we are just going to define the data type like this, also like this. And we are going to apply the check constant here. So it's going to check if that particular condition is met or not. So in the check constant we are just going to apply age should be greater than or equal to of 18 here. So when we are going to like create this command, create this table, so it's going to execute it. But when we are going to like enter some data under the employee table like this, so create insert into employee table, employee, and values is going to employee id 1, and for employee id 1, and age is, if we are trying to enter 16, so that time it's going through an error. Here you can see it's clearly say a database mydb table db employee column name age terminated, statement has been terminated because of the rule is not met, because the be defined here it should be at least 18 or greater than 18. So when we enter the 18 here, and again we are trying to insert that data, so that time it's going to execute. So this is the major things you should need to keep in your mind when we are apply some rule by using the check constant. We need to restrict some column based on some condition. For that purpose we use check constant, right? So here you can see clearly if we enter 16, so that time it's not going to be like execute, that time it's not going to like insert that data. But when we are going to insert the 18 here, so it's going to insert that data very efficiently, right? So जैसे कि आपने देखा जब हम 16 डाल रहे थे तो डेटा नहीं ले रहा था, और जैसे हमने 18 डाला वहाँ पे जो है ये डेटा अपने आप जो है ले लिया है. सो दिस इज़ द पर्पज वी यूज़ चेक कांस्टेंट, राइट? सो इसके लिए जो है हम चेक कांस्टेंट यूज करते हैं. So suppose if age cannot be less than 18, salary cannot be negative, anything like that things we need to apply. So that purpose we use check constant. In a real world use cases, if we talk about the real world use cases, suppose for age validation as seen in this example, but for like a discount percentage, and for marks between 0 to 100, and for that purpose we use our check constant where we apply some rule like if else condition. So based on that condition we are able to make our table much better, right? So this improve actually the data quality overall, right? So data quality is going to matter a lot, right? So keep in mind. So check constant always applies some rule based on some condition, so you should need to keep in mind. And this is also interview question. Interviewer may ask you what are the check constraint. Okay, so till here I think everyone are able to do the same. And let's talk about our most awaited and most useful constant, which is called the primary foreign key. So foreign key is actually a relationship between two tables. Foreign key used to establish a relationship between the two table, and maintain the referential integrity and prevent the invalid data in certain example order linked to customer. सो यहाँ पे आपको अच्छे से समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा, बट व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू लाइक डू इन अ प्रैक्टिकल वे, सो दैट टाइम इट्स गोइंग टू लाइक क्लियर टू यू गाइज. सो फॉरेन की क्या होता है, फॉरेन की एक्चुअली रिलेशनशिप बिल्ड करता है दो टेबल के बीच में, क्योंकि दो टेबल जो कनेक्ट होता है वो किसी न किसी रिलेशनशिप के थ्रू कनेक्ट होता है. जैसे कि कुछ टेबल कॉमन होते हैं, जैसे कि यहाँ पे हमने लिया है ऑर्डर जो है वो लिंक होता है कस्टमर के साथ, कि एक कस्टमर जो है कितना ऑर्डर जो है ऑर्डर कर रहा है, तो उसके लिए उसकी ऑर्डर आईडी जनरेट होती है कस्टमर के टेबल में, और सेम ऑर्डर के टेबल में यहाँ पे एक ऑर्डर आईडी जनरेट होती है, जहाँ पे ऑर्डर आईडी जनरेट होती है किस प्रोडक्ट की ऑर्डर आईडी क्या आई और किस कस्टमर ने लिया. सो इसको जानने के लिए हम जो है फॉरेन की कॉन्स्टेंट का यूज़ करते हैं, जो कि प्राइमरी की के साथ काम करता है. ठीक है. सो सपोज एक कॉलम में प्राइमरी की होगा, सेकेंड कॉलम में आपका सेकेंड टेबल के अंदर आपका foreign key होगा. In this case we use our foreign key constant, and it's going to like a most important things, because we deal with the many tables, not only with a single table, right? So that purpose we use a foreign key. So keep in mind when we are going to like study about like a join, so that time it's going to like a clear a lot, because that time it's going to useful, right? So because we deal with a multiple table, so our data is stored in a like a in a proper normalization form, and that time there are a lot of things, right? Okay. So so I believe everything is going to clear to you guys, and let's jump in a practical way. So let's create a new table. सो और मैं उम्मीद कर रहा हूँ आप लोग भी हमारे साथ कर पा रहे होंगे अच्छे से. अगर किसी को कोई डाउट होती है तो एक बार आप ज़रूर बताइएगा, ठीक है. ओके. सो when we talk about the foreign key, so it's going to like a create relationship between two table. So let's create in a practical. सो लेट्स क्रिएट इन द प्रैक्टिकल. ज़्यादा हम जो है थ्योरेटिकल बात करके आपका टाइम नहीं ख़राब करना चाहते, सो जो है हम प्रैक्टिकल में करके देखते हैं क्या ये सच में ऐसा कुछ होता है या फिर मैं बोल ही रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. ठीक है, तो देख लेते हैं यहाँ पे. तो क्रिएट टेबल, एक्चुअली लेट्स क्रिएट अ टेबल. सो फॉर दैट पर्पज वी आर गोइंग टू यूज अ क्रिएट कमांड एंड टेबल फॉर ऑब्जेक्ट, एंड आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू क्रिएट अ table that is called the customer. So I am using the short form which is CUST. So just enter, and the customer ID, I am just going to enter the customer ID going to integer data type, and it's going to primary key, and the name is going to VARCHAR, जो कि टेक्स्ट डेटा टाइप है, और उसकी लिमिट जो है हमने 50 डाल दी है. और इसको जो है हम कुछ इस तरीके से एग्जीक्यूट कर लेते हैं. इस तरीके से कस्टमर टेबल हमारा बन गया. एंड द नेक्स्ट वी नीड टू क्रिएट अनदर टेबल दैट इज कॉल्ड आवर ऑर्डर टेबल. सो नाउ लेट्स क्रिएट ऑर्डर टेबल. क्रिएट टेबल नेम इज गोइंग टू ऑर्डर, and under the order table we have some column that is called order ID, and the data type is going to integer, and the constant is going to primary key here, and customer ID is going to integer. Customer ID may be duplicate, so I am not going to apply any constant here in this case, and I am just going to apply foreign key. foreign key हमको किस पे अप्लाई करना है? We are just going to apply the foreign key on the customer ID which is present in the customer table, right? So customer ID रेफरेंस हम कर देंगे. रेफरेंस किसके साथ करेंगे? रेफरेंस टू customer. Okay, so reference to customer, so CUST customer, एंड यहाँ पे जो है हम कस्टमर आईडी के साथ इसको रेफरेंस कर देंगे इस तरीके से, और इसको जो है हम दोबारा से एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे। यहाँ पे बोलता है ऑर्डर टेबल ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट, सो नो नीड अबाउट, सो जस्ट क्रिएट ऑर्डर वन, customer ID reference with the customer ID. Okay, so let's create like this. When we create our order table here and reference with our customer table by using the foreign key, it's going to execute. But what actually it does in a real, so now SQL Server ensure you cannot insert order for a customer that does not exist. This maintain the referential integrity in a real world example. So customers and order, students and courses, and the users and transactions. Foreign key is extremely important in real database design. So foreign key is going to important in real database design. So this is the purpose we use foreign key constant, right? So I think everything is going to clear to you guys. तो इस तरीके से जो है हम फॉरेन की क्रिएट करते हैं, ठीक है। If we talk about the real world scenario, so imagine you are building a e-commerce database. If we talk about the real world scenario, if everything is going to clear, just let me know, and if you stuck, please also let me know so that we can cover. So in a real world scenario, imagine you are building a e-commerce database. You are building a e-commerce database, e-commerce database, और e-commerce database के अंदर we are going to create the unique ID. For that purpose we are going to use for that purpose so okay, let me adjust. Okay, so for that purpose we are going to use here, in this case we are going to use primary key. Okay, primary key. For that purpose, for unique ID we are going to use primary key. We also use table, we also want to create the table relationship. For that purpose we are going to use foreign key, and we also create the email column, and for that purpose we also going to use a constant that is called unique constant, and we also create date, and we also want to store our date. For that purpose we are going to use our default constant. Okay, and we also need to create age validation or something validation, some validation column. So for that purpose we use the check constant, and we also use some mandatory field. For that purpose we are going to use our not null constant. So these are the basic constant you should need to keep in your mind. So this is how a real company database are designed actually, right? So I think everything is going to create view from multiple table. So now we are not talking about the view here because it's our second class, so don't worry about that. We will cover what are the view and how to create view, and all those things in upcoming session, right? So don't worry about that. I am planning to like a teach in a depth so that everything is going to clear to you guys. So इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन की अगर बात करें, सो इंटरव्यूअर में आस्क यू इन इंटरव्यू what is like a constants, and they also want to understand what are the difference between primary key and unique. So can a table have multiple unique constraint, and what are referential integrity, why do we apply the check constant. So if you understand those concepts in a proper way, so you can answer all of these, right? ओके. सो अगर आपको ये सब अच्छे से समझ में आया होगा तो आप जो है बहुत अच्छे से आंसर कर पाएंगे इंटरव्यू में, ठीक है. तो यहाँ तक उम्मीद करता हूँ सबको अच्छे से समझ में आ रहा होगा, ठीक है. सो लेट्स जंप ऑन आवर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक विच इज़ गोइंग टू लाइक अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट इज़ ऑल्सो गोइंग टू लाइक अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक विच इज़ गोइंग टू आवर डेटा टाइप विच बी इंटर वेल वी आर क्रिएटिंग आवर table. So what is data type actually? So data type is actually going to define the data, like define the type of data which we are going to like store. So so why like choosing the correct data type is extremely important. If you are preparing for like a data analyst, business analyst, or SQL developer or database interview round, so you should need to have that much of knowledge. So this topic is a fundamental topic, so where we are going to like a use, because of wrong data type selection can slow down performance based storage and even break your application as well. So that purpose also we are going to use, we are going to like study what are the data type actually. So data type also going to like improve the performance and accuracy and determines the storage size as well, right? So let's begin what are the data type and what kind of the data type present in SQL Server. I also created a full list of PDF, so after the class I'll try to paste that data over the GitHub repository, so from there you guys can like take that note as well. And also I'm planning to give this note on GitHub repository and the same in the WhatsApp group. So you guys are also able to like take the things from the WhatsApp group as well, right? So so in SQL Server every column must have a data type. So we seen earlier when we are like creating our table, so every column must have some data type, like we are using some integer, we are using some varchar and something like that. So how much storage it will be used, what operations can be performed, so these kind of things we can define under the data type. So data type tell SQL Server what kind of data a column can store. So data type क्या होता है, data type बताता है SQL Server को कि किस तरीके का कॉलम जो है इसमें किस तरीके का डेटा इस कॉलम के अंदर स्टोर होगा, ठीक है. सो जैसे कि हमने एग्जांपल में देखा, सपोज हम एक यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं. सपोज वी हैव क्रिएटेड अ टेबल that is called the order table here. So under order table we have defined the integer data type, customer ID is also integer, this is called the a data type. So right, so here like our order ID is going to store the integer and the customer ID also going to integer, and we also seen like age for this decimal and name varchar, right? So we cannot store like a text inside the integer column, so that purpose we use our data type, okay. So why data type are important, so let's understand why data type are important. So data type actually important to like ensure the data accuracy, improve the performance, optimize the storage and prevent the calculation error. So for that purpose we use our data type, right? So suppose if a salary column is a varchar, suppose a salary column, suppose we have a column that is called salary, we have a salary column, okay. So okay, we have a salary column, and we have defined the data type as a varchar, that is text only, right? So if we going to like store our data like in a that way like 10,000 in a database 10,000 like that, and like ABC anything, and also like with some symbol like this. So this is not going to right way of like storing our data, which is wrong actually. So correct data type actually prevent the invalid data, right? So performance also going to like decrease when we use our uh, incorrect data types. So example, we using like a int and use 4 byte, begin to use like a 8 byte. So these kind of the things we use in data type, so we need to keep in mind. So where we are creating a table, so we should need to keep in mind data type is going to like a play a very crucial role. so ये हमको जो है अपने दिमाग में बैठा के रखना चाहिए कि जब भी हम डेटा टाइप यूज़ करते हैं तो उस टाइम पे जो है ये डेटा टाइप जो है हमारे लिए बहुत यूज़फुल होता है, ठीक है। सो टाइप ऑफ डेटा टाइप इन एसक्यूएल सर्वर, अगर हम टाइप ऑफ डेटा टाइप की बात करें, सो देयर आर मेनी काइंड ऑफ डेटा टाइप प्रेजेंट्स. So numeric data type is present like a int, big int, and the small int, and the decimal, accuracy value, float, approximate values for use, decimal for salary and financial data. So these kind of the things present in a numeric data type. So under the numeric data type we have like these kind of the things. So use cases की बात करेंगे, if we talk about the use cases, so salary is going to like a decimal, that is going to like a accurate money value, and id, employee id is going to integer, that is going to like store the integer data type only, right? So for money prefer decimal and instead of the float. So keep in mind when we are going to store any money column, so that time you should need to use the decimal data type, right, instead of float. So these are kind of the things, and characters data type we have for to storing like our string data type, text data type. So for that purpose we have the character data type, where we will see like a char, fixed length varchar, and with the variable length, and the use varchar for name and email, and char to like a for fixed code like ind something like that. So for that purpose we use our char and varchar. Okay, so we have next data type which is going to like date and boolean type. So under a date we have like a date time to use for like a tracking time based data, like bit 0 or 1 for rule false value, something like that. We should need to keep in mind like this. So again let's talk about when we creating a table. So we like suppose we are creating an order date. So in this case we are just going to define the data type as a date, and when we are going to like create it at that time we can use date me, or we can also use date here as well. So use cases store the transaction time, track user registration date. In that purpose we use our date time. Okay, for boolean type like SQL server use the like a bit 0 or 1, like example when we are like creating a table, so that time 0 is going to use for 1, sorry 0 is going for false, and 1 is going for true as well, right? So important interview क्वेश्चंस की अगर हम बात करें, सो डिफरेंस बिटवीन केयर एंड वेयर केयर, इंटरव्यूअर में आस्क यू व्हाट आर द डिफरेंस बिटवीन केयर एंड वेयर केयर. So you can answer like care is a fixed length. So you can answer like a care is a fixed length. So you can answer like a care is a fixed length, and where care is going to like a variable length. So these kind of the things they can ask you, like why use decimal instead of float for money. So your answer should be float can use rounding error, and decimal give precise value. For that purpose we use. Okay, so what happened, they may ask you what happen if you, if wrong data type is chosen. So what happen if a wrong data type is chosen? So your answer should be it may be it prevent like a performance issue, data corruption, calculation error. So many kind of the things here happen if we take the wrong data type, right? So in a real world scenario, imagine you are designing e-commerce database as seen earlier, and we define data type like for customer id integer, for name varchar, for email varchar, created date as a date time, like that things we need to create the correct data type selection, make the system efficient, right? So these kind of the things we should need to keep in mind, and here are the some golden rule you should have to keep in your mind when you are creating any table. So choose actually smallest suitable data type, always define primary key, use constant wisely, and never use store data numbers in a varchar. So if you store your number in varchar, so when you are going to perform some calculation, so that time it's going to give you some error, right? So for that purpose we use data type as well, right? सो ये सब आपको अच्छे से अपने दिमाग में रखना है कि किस समय कौन सा डेटा टाइप हमको यूज करना है. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर चूजन राइट डेटा टाइप इज गोइंग टू मेक योर table is much better, right? And it's a real way of storing your data. So database design start with the correct data type selection, right? So these are kind of the things we should need to keep in mind, and I think everything is going to clear to you guys, and we have seen lot of things, how to create a table, how to create a database. We also seen how to enter data, what are the primary key, what are the foreign key, and what are the constant, what are the data type. We have seen all these things, and in the next session for tomorrow at the same time we will meet, and we will see how to insert data, how to delete, how to select data. Also I want to cover one more thing, how to how to Mhm. How to import any CSV file. So let's talk about how to import. So I'm just going to import a CSV file in front of you. For that purpose you just need to create the right click on the database. Under a database, here you can see an option that is called import wizard. So maybe in your system it's import something like that. So click on that like this, and it's give you the some simple step like this, in which database is going to store, and where your file is registered. Just I am going to take this one. We have auto sales data. I am just going to open, and here you can see we are able to select your data, and our table name auto detected auto sales data, and table schema is going to dview, and it's automatically detected, and I'm just going to next, again next. And here if you want to change any data type or any apply some rule some constant, so you are also able to do that. Here from here you can see, from here you can change the data type, and here you can able to apply the primary key and the allow null as well. So you can able to apply many rules from here, right? And once you import the data, so it's give us the warning. So import error creating table. I think we have already import that table here. So that for that purpose it's going to give us the error. So I'm just going to use the second database. Let's refresh, and I'm going to use this one. It's freeze. Okay, no problem. I'm just going to use import. I'm just going to use our file like this. I'll say I'm going to share with you guys some data in a form of Excel or CSV file. So you guys should need to keep import your data in your system, and here you are able to store import your data by using the import node. So I'm just going to save this query file, and I'm going to give you all the resource in the resource section, so you guys are able to find out that data as well. So I am also going to like keep this data in like a WhatsApp group and my my GitHub repository also, so you guys are take the data from there. So till here I think everything is clear to you guys and everything is going to clear. So if yes, please type as in the chat, and we will meet tomorrow, and we will meet tomorrow at the same time 8 p.m. So till then please do practice and stay updated, and try to go with the deeper if you want. And also I have decided to take some doubt clear session. If you guys have any doubt, please let me know in the same WhatsApp group, so we can connect over there, right? Okay, thank you. Till then, bye bye. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay, bye bye.